It was supposed to be the best night of my life, our 5th wedding anniversary. I planned everything perfectly, a surprise dinner at the restaurant where Julian first told me he loved me. I was sitting there, smoothing down my dress, checking my watch every few seconds, just buzzing with excitement. But as the minutes ticked by, that excitement started to curdle into something cold and heavy in my stomach. 10 minutes late, then 20, then an hour. I called him again and again. Each time it went straight to voicemail. "Hey, it's Julian. Leave a message." His voice, usually a comfort, now felt like a taunt. Panic began to set in. Was he in an accident? Was he hurt? My mind raced through every terrible possibility. I called his best friend Mark. No answer. I called his office, even though I knew it was late. Nothing. It was like he had vanished from the face of the earth. Just as I was about to give up and call the police, my phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. All it said was an address. An address I didn't recognize, across town in a neighborhood I'd never been to. Below the address was a single, terrifying sentence. "If you want to know where your husband is, come here." My blood ran cold. Was this a prank? A threat? I didn't know what to do. My heart was pounding in my chest, but I knew one thing for sure. I couldn't just sit there. I had to know. I grabbed my purse, my hands shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. I got in my car and put the address into the GPS. The robotic voice directed me through unfamiliar streets, each turn making my anxiety worse. It led me to a quiet tree-lined street with modest, single-family homes. The kind of place you'd imagine a happy family living. The GPS announced, "You have arrived." I was parked in front of a small, charming blue house with a wide picket fence. It looked so normal, so peaceful. It made no sense. Taking a deep breath, I got out of the car and walked up the pathway. There were lights on inside, and I could hear the faint sound of music. Hesitantly, I peeked through the front window. What I saw shattered my world into a million pieces. There was Julian, my Julian. He was standing in the living room, laughing, and in his arms was another woman. He wasn't just holding her. He was kissing her, a tender, loving kiss. And then I saw it, a small child, a little girl with Julian's dark curly hair, ran into the room and jumped into his arms, yelling, "Daddy!" I couldn't breathe. It felt like the air had been sucked out of my lungs. A double life, a whole other family. The perfect anniversary I had planned, the years we had spent together, the love I thought we shared, it was all a lie. The anonymous text suddenly made sense. Someone wanted me to see this. Someone wanted me to know the truth. But who and why? Rage, hot and blinding, replaced the shock. I didn't storm in and scream. I didn't cry. I just stood there, hidden in the darkness, and watched. I watched my husband play happy families with his secret wife and child. I watched him live a life I never knew existed. Every laugh, every touch was a knife twisting in my gut. After what felt like an eternity, I walked back to my car, my body moving on autopilot. The drive home was a blur. When I got back to our empty house, the one filled with photos of us smiling, it felt like a museum of lies. I sat on the floor of our living room, surrounded by the ghosts of our shared memories. The anger was still there, but now it was joined by a profound, soul-crushing sadness. How could I have been so blind? How could he have done this? The questions echoed in the silence. Around 2 a.m, I heard his key in the door. Julian walked in looking tired but not remorseful. He started with an apology about his phone dying and getting held up at work. The lies just poured out of him, so easily, so naturally. I didn't say a word. I just looked at him, and for the first time, I saw a stranger. I let him finish his story, a work of fiction he clearly perfected. Then I calmly said, "I know where you were, Julian." The color drained from his face. I know about the blue house. I know about her. And I know about your daughter. The silence that followed was deafening. He couldn't even look at me. The man I had loved, the man I had built a life with, just stood there, his empire of deceit crumbling around him. That night, every secret he had ever hidden was laid bare, but it wasn't just the end of our marriage. It was the beginning of my new life. The road ahead was going to be painful, filled with lawyers and heartbreak, and rebuilding myself from the ground up. But as I looked at the man who had betrayed me, I felt a strange sense of peace. The truth, no matter how ugly, had set me free. I was no longer living a lie. And I knew, deep down, that I would be okay. I was stronger than his betrayal. The journey of healing is a long one, but it's a journey worth taking. Discovering a betrayal of this magnitude is devastating, but it's important to remember that it's not your fault. If you're going through something similar, please know that support is available. Talking to a therapist or joining a support group can make a world of difference. You are not alone, and you have the strength to get through this and build a new, happier future for yourself. Thank you for listening to my story. Please subscribe for more content about navigating life's toughest challenges and finding strength in adversity.